The cloud. All right, let's get this started. Sorry, guys. It's a learning curve. All right, let's do the disclaimer. Disclaimer. Next generation carriers and guests are individual union members speaking in a personal capacity, and they do not represent the views of the NALC, the United States Postal Service, or any other entity that is spoken on this program. If you enjoy our podcast, please subscribe to our monthly email newsletter. Go to nextgenerationcarriers.com/email. Fill in your name and email. Click subscribe. Also, if you would like to get in contact with Next Generation Carriers podcast, send us an email at nextgenerationcarriers@gmail.com. My name is John Murphy. I'm a city letter carrier out of Naples, Florida, branch 4716. I'll pass it over to Greg to do his introduction.
Greg Samoluk, President, Branch 334, Framingham, Natick, Ashland, Massachusetts.
Capone.
There we go.
James Capone, president of Branch 764 in Dedham, Massachusetts.
And Margot O'Neill, city letter carrier from Des Moines, Iowa, branch 352.
And tonight we are joined by William Kriebel. Would you like to introduce yourself and why you're on the episode tonight?
Well, my name is Bill Kriebel. I am the president of Branch 254. I am the CLC candidate for Region 12's MBA candidate. And I'm here to have a conversation.
All right, cool.
So,
Before we begin, I went through the NALC's officers report that we got at the Boston convention, and I also dug through the TA turnout, and I gathered some numbers for everyone that's listening into Region 12. Region 12 covers South New Jersey and Pennsylvania. The total membership, including retirees, is 18,793. New Jersey has 13 branches in that region. Pennsylvania has a total of 42 branches. Region 12 members voted total for Renfro and Noble in 2022 was 3,163. The Region 12 tentative agreement total votes 2025 was 11,000. Pennsylvania had 8,898 votes. New Jersey had 2,126 votes. Region 12's highest membership branches, according to the TA ballots mailed. New Jersey is branch 906 or 908 Blackwood with 468 members. Branch 157 Philadelphia has 1,983 members. Branch 84 Pittsburgh has 1,665 members. Branch 500 Harrisburg has 732 members. Branch 725 Millmont Hill has 667 members. And Branch 920 Bucksmont, Pennsylvania has 570. I just want to bring this up because Region 12 total membership, including retirees, is 18,700 members. And if we look at the tentative agreement, which was historic turnout, 11,000 members voted. So that's a difference of 7,000. We can't really use the get out the vote numbers during the 2022 election between Renfro and Noble because it was not as contested as this going to be. So I want to start this by saying to every rank and file member that is in Region 12, if you're not happy with what's going on, it's not just about the NELC presidency. It is about the entire executive council. So get involved. You might not like Brian Thompson, who's the current NBA, and you might not like Bill Kriebel, but you should be educating your membership, your coworkers, on letting them know that there's an election and that everyone should make their voices heard. Because after September 2026, this cruise ship is going to keep going and this momentum's going to die away. So hopefully tonight we have a good discussion with Bill Kriebel and people get energized and kind of want to help get out the vote. So, Kriebel, what do you have to say about these numbers I just listed?
I'm an analytical guy. I'm glad you used all your breath to say all those numbers because there was a lot of numbers you just threw out there, and you're 100% right. Like people in certain areas, some of these bigger cities that you listed off, like the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, not a lot of them really voted. Like I think Philadelphia has about 3,500, if I'm not mistaken, members, and I believe the numbers in with the tentative agreement was 600 actually voted. Jersey's changed a little bit. There's less than 13 branches now in Jersey. Clementon merged, and Cherry Hill and Camden have now merged. So that makes them actually a bigger branch sitting there with Billy Phillips and Chuck Goshen. They created a merger, but people have to get out and vote. For years of me being a union official, I've been a union official, guys, for almost my whole career in the post office. I think maybe I was a year and 9 months as a CCA. I am a Table 2 carrier. A lot of people ask me that. A lot of people probably don't know that about me because I'm an older looking guy. We'll dive into the Table 2 here in a second, but people have to vote. It's the biggest thing. And if you look at that tentative agreement, that's one of the main things that you would look at, John, about as far as people looking at voting, because that's our money. That's our way that we operate. That's the things that I get back out of the contract that help me as a carrier. I am a carrier. I'm a president, but I'm also a carrier. I carry a route every day. I enjoy carrying my route. It gets you in touch with Mother Nature a little bit out there. And I always think in the back of my head, like the Sesame Street song about you're the people in the neighborhood. And when you hear Corey and them talk about you watch people in the street grow up, you really do. You see families grow. With the Table 2, guys, there's a big difference with stuff. And I always tell the story when I was a vice president, the Article 8s and the challenges with Article 8s. My president at the time didn't believe in non-ODLs getting paid anything. It was about the ODL carriers getting their money and getting it now. I was a non-ODL carrier being forced. I fought for that. I must have written thousands and thousands of Article 8 grievances. And then I got a precedent setting. It all came through. They all get paid now. I see one of my branch members that's actually in the crowd here, and he can agree 100% with that because I guarantee he never saw anything in his whole career in the post office. I take that same fight as becoming an executive counsel to the Table 2 craft because I don't believe that there should be a Table 2 craft. Let's go with the number step J, the letter step J, right? On Table 1, a step J guy makes $79,168. And Table 2, that step J guy makes $70,280. That's a crazy amount of money difference between me and the other dude doing the same job every day. And you could bet your boots that if I'm in there fighting against a guy telling me we don't want to get the nons paid, and I said, screw that, I'm one of those guys. I have to put that fight up for the people because it's fair. I don't want to be on that list. You do. So you go do that work. I'm going home in 8 hours. But shit happens where you get forced. But that whole difference, gang, with if we're going to rally and fight for something, that's something to fight for. Let's get rid of Table 2 and move us all up into that Table 1 pay scale. Now we all got beautiful raises. That to me would be the first step of it. Getting to the maximum years is another step that I think that should be something that we fought for too. Because man, I'm 53 years old. Like I don't know if I get to the top step. And that's a long ways off from me. I've been in the post office for about, I don't know, a little over 10 years, I'm going to say. Been a union official, like I said, for most of those years. Started as a shop steward, worked my way up to a vice president, and I'm a 2-term president right now. Don't have a big branch. I call us more of a medium branch, about 245 members, including my retirees. We have a good turnout with our branch. We do a lot of things for our branch. We just had a hockey game the other night where we take our members out and give back to the membership. I mean, we're not assholes. We're all letter carriers at the end of the day. We should all be brothers and sisters. I know everybody has heard me talk about this on many podcasts. I'm a down to earth guy. Every one of you guys know me that I'm seeing right here in front of me. I don't see everybody in this. And everybody in here knows that I'm a fighter. I'm here to fight. I don't know everything. I know that there's people probably listening that don't think I have the education that everybody believes I should have. We could talk about that. That's a discussion.
Yeah,
I'm a fighter.
Okay. Let me tap in. So Brian Thompson at the convention booklet says our goal at Region 12 is to educate branch officers, stewards, activists, and letter carriers by sharing information and presenting it to our brothers and sisters in the simplest forum. Our office provides training at many different events around the Region 12. They have monthly branch president webinars and their annual regional training held in Atlantic City, New Jersey. They also now have smaller classrooms, which are more organized and now have an interactive teaching style along with a technology aspect. Their class materials are available electronically, which allows the material to be used by the delegates in passing this education on at the branch level. So let's talk about Region 12 training and education. Is there any
Excellent.
Zoom or interactive training for quote unquote the union activists that he talks about?
The only Zoom trainings that I know about is our monthly president's meeting. It's probably about a 20, 30-minute meeting until I believe I was running, had no agenda. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And John and guys, one of the biggest things on my agenda is education because I feel like there's not enough of it. We have a rap session. It's down in Atlantic City. It's once a year. But the challenge is our territory is so big and the smaller branches can't afford to take their people from the western side of Pennsylvania and go to this training. That's going to cost your branch a lot of money. So if you're a small branch, you can't afford that. So why don't we have more rap sessions? Why don't we have more trainings across the other side and have something out by Pittsburgh and Harrisburg area to bring those people on that side to have their own space? Let's do a training out there. Look, the more education, the better. There should be roving teams. There should be, they do a pretty good job with OWCP. I'm not going to knock that because Chris Williams does get her ass out there and does her job. But we need to be more on educating the stewards. There's a lot of stewards that don't even know what an 8190 is in this region. That should never be. That's the first thing in the grievance process that you have to fill out to do anything. So there should be more education on them. So my game plan is that we don't do right now is you have this monthly meeting with the presidents. You go over the agendas, and I'm talking about good communication, being transparent. I went into labor. I spoke to such and such. This is what we discussed. This is what's coming down the pipe. We need to build a grievance template and get that out to our stewards so that way we can defend us when this happens. This doesn't happen, but that's how I believe it should go, right? Then we should have a monthly meeting with the stewards. Because if I had that monthly meeting with the stewards to make sure that they're understanding and with the way that their grievance process should be happening and with the education coming from the presidents, we know that that communication's happening and there's no breakdown as the stewards are all on the same page as the presidents. Now I'm going to flip it again and say we should have a quarterly meeting with just the rank and file. Gang, the one thing I have over everybody in this election is I work. I'm on the workroom floor. I see what happens every day. I go through the same shit everybody in the Zoom meeting goes through. I'm out in the snow. I'm in the negative 15 degree weather. I go out and do it with pride. I like doing my job. I mean, I don't like freezing my ass off, but I mean, it comes with the territory, right? I'm a veteran. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. I used to have to go sleep in that in the woods
So,
just
so
for
you're,
training. So
hey, so you're saying last week you were delivering mail. You have parking loop.
yeah.
What was the temperature while delivering the
Well,
mail?
it was 9 degrees. That's what the temperature was, but the wind was whipping, which took it to negative 15. Like it was temperature to the part where your fingers are starting to freeze.
Um, if you're a business agent, would you go back at least once a year to carry mail?
If that's what it takes. I mean, if that's what you need me to do, but I don't think that all business agents are, I don't know what other people could go do. I mean,
So,
I'm always about going to, I have a killer route, guys. I mean, I don't even want to leave my route. So I'm good with my route. So if that's what it takes for me to go back there and see what's going on the workroom floor, then yeah, why not?
Bill, I know that there is uh, people signing up to national having the executive council go back to carrying. That's one of the
Yeah.
big resolutions everybody wants. But what about something as simple as going through Good Start and OJI every 4 years? That every business agent has to do that first 2 weeks, walk with an OJI, if they're an active, not retired. Was that something that you would support, or what do you think of something like that?
Yeah. I mean, like, I, I mean, I'm sure that they won't mind me talking about it, but like even like Debbie in Orlando, they had to go. They announced that they had to go to academy training again. The one thing that I have over them people actually working in a business agent office is I know how to work the scanner. They don't.
And that's a problem.
Bill,
And that's kind
Yes.
of the thing.
I mean,
Going back to carrying at some point for the executive council so we don't end up with just this roving movement of people up there for so long they don't know what the carriers are doing out on the floor.
well,
Yeah.
if I could jump in there for a second, I don't think I think it's a problem that the RAAs that were fired don't know what it's like to carry. I mean, you don't have to go to fantasy camp to the academy. You should know all along, and that might be just be people being out of touch. I don't know Brian. I've never met Brian, but it sounds like complacency has set in. And when complacency sets in, you stop doing trainings, you stop having Zoom meetings, and is that the main reason why you're running? You feel like you're not like as a president, if you weren't running with the CLC and you were just Bill Kriebel, the president, do you have a problem with the way he runs the region? And is that why you decided to step up and challenge him?
There's a lot of people. This could go for a minute. There's a lot of people from before when I was a vice president and I would go to COP meetings. That's when I really started networking with people, advanced OWCP trainings, where I really started meeting the national people. And a lot of people in our region were never really happy because you're right. It's a complacent type style that we run here, not an aggressive. And I mean, the Step B's backlogged. There's
Hmm.
a lot of issues we could go through. We're waiting on a year for pre-arbs to be settled. To me, sitting as a president, that's a challenge for me because I need them things beat now because they're going to just start escalating remedies on these people. They're going to start the discipline process is going to go crazy. And with the backlog there, it's not. So as a president, these were things that concerned me. Uh, the educational portion of it, just the simple fact of showing up to the station and just saying hello.
Yep.
How you doing? My name is Bill Kriebel. I'm your MBA. And go around and just meet people and be down to earth with people and social instead of having a standoffish kind of demeanor towards everybody. When you go around the rap session, this is my opinion. Everybody else that's in Region 12 might have their own narrative to this story, but I always felt like I was never a part of the team.
Mm.
Even though I fought the fight, I was never a part of the team. And a lot of the part of the team is the people that are advocates for arbitration or Step B guys. Like all these people come out of this one fishing hole. So I'm not in the fishing hole. made me want to run. I thought that there has to be a change. Nobody's ever, I can't recall since I've been in the post office an election for the business agent. I mean, Napadano was the business agent before Thompson. I thought Dave did good. He showed up. He came around the stations like I'm talking about. When you're at functions, he would come over to the table and, say, hey, how you guys doing? Is there anything I could help you guys out with or anything like that? I got to be honest with you, I probably only have that rapport with maybe one person at the business agent's office, and that's one of the RAs. Uh, I don't
Yeah,
know if that kind of helps you.
no, it does. It's always tough. You know, I've been around for 22 years, and you don't really. This is like the first election regionally, maybe, and nationally, where there's actually. I mean, social media and Zooms and podcasts are bigger now, but
Right.
there's a contested election, and it's always tougher for the incumbent to win. And Murph read off those numbers, and I'm not your campaign manager, but I don't think there's too many table two people that have ever run for a national position. So like you can appeal to those table two people that some can't, and I think that's obviously a positive. And even if it's just, if you run and you're unsuccessful, even if it got people to wake up, throughout the region, throughout national, which I think a lot of this might do, even if people don't win. Um, everybody needs to be challenged once in a while. Like I don't mind if someone runs against me, so
I'm confident. I'm 100% confident, and I'm going to win this election. I am the table two guy. Like I said before, I'm you guys. I'm the same person. Imagine having a table two guy that likes to fight on the executive council. Do you think I'm accepting 1.3%? F no, man. When it's negative 15 degrees out there, that's when I want to flip everybody to bird because I'm freezing my ass off. That's not worth 1.3%. How about the uniforms? Like we all need to be in uniforms. We get $536 a year for uniforms. What the hell are you getting with that? Once you buy your shoes that you have to have on all the time, you're half your money's gone.
don't buy a raincoat. It's your whole
Yeah,
allotment.
don't. Yeah, don't buy a raincoat. You ain't gonna be able to put that on anyway. It's hot when it's raining.
So, Bill, I imagine you're for the members of the executive council having a little bit more pull in the negotiation process, as it's always
Absolutely.
been. The president's the sole negotiator, and it seems like a lot of the executive council is left out of everything until 5 minutes before we find out. So you have a little bit more with actually being involved in the whole process.
Yeah, I believe I'm a voice. I'm one of the 15 MBAs that's in the room. The good thing with the CLC slate is we have Wednesday meetings, all of us MBA candidates. We're all on the same page. Now, imagine you have all these MBA candidates in there and we all win, or when we do win, we're a big voice in that executive council. Now, I'm not saying that James, like I have all faith in the world and James Henry as my leader. There's no doubt about that. And I know James isn't going to run any kind of bullshit because he's about integrity and transparency, and he has a love for the letter carrier, just like I do, just like Grosskopf does, just like everybody else in this room. We're all about light blue.
So, but if, say, Brian won and you win, you would be pushing, you'd still be pushing up there. You'd still be telling them to try to get the executive council being a voice up there.
Yeah, I would believe that my power and my agenda plan that I would want to do it might be more tough for me, but yeah, I would probably be stripped of, I wouldn't have a say in it because he's not even listening to who's there right now. So what makes you think he's going to listen? I mean, you can bet your ass I'm going to be there saying it, but I'm sure I'll get escorted out of the room or something like that.
Sometimes that needs to happen.
Yeah, it does because there's no fight. I mean, we have a lot of salaries sitting up at National right now with their duties removed from them. Like, how come nobody's questioning that?
No, that's it. Wrong is wrong. And you think that they're up there representing our interests, that something happens wrong in front of you, it doesn't matter who's doing it, you're going to say something.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I was going to try to go back to training education, but while we're on topic of the National Association headquarters and executive council, so I just deliver mail. I'm just rank and file. There's Region 12 does monthly branch presidents meetings, right, with no agendas or whatever you're saying. Has any meeting Brian Thompson has organized talked or critiqued the way Brian Renfro operates in the national level?
I've
Has there been any criticism? Because from a rank and file point of view, we're very isolated from the executive council. They're not on the postal record. They're not on social media. There's not even a nationwide union email list, which is like archaic at this point. Like almost every union has like a blast where, or even regional. Um, so my thing is, as a rank and file member that's delivering mail every day, we're very isolated. So I want to
Mhm.
know if does your business agent, when they do the monthly president's meetings, is there any critique of what Brian Renfro or the other executive council members are doing wrong?
No, not at all. It's more support. That's the part where I have a challenge with because I don't support that contract that we just got pushed down our throats. I was against that 100%. I believe every person that's in this room was not for that contract, but somehow like, it went through this process real fast, right? That to me should never happen. So, John, yeah, I
That's
Bill, so
wild
you're
because
Bill, so you, oh, sorry, go ahead, John.
I think that's wild because you guys have a rap session coming up in 2 weeks, March 8th through the 11th
Mhm.
at
Right.
Atlantic City. What do you expect to hear at that?
All right. Well, I expect what portion of it? The part where National gets up there and talks, or the actual trainings?
I have no idea. Just act like I'm a rank and file.
Ranks.
Well, I don't even know what the meeting. I don't even know what you guys are going there for. Explain what you guys are going there for.
Well, the rap session starts out. It's usually like a general session in the beginning. Renfro comes out. He'll talk. Um, Thompson will talk. The state presidents will talk. New Jersey and PA because New Jersey is part of the region. And probably I see Renfro talk. It's probably the same talk we've been hearing all along. The post office is broke. Um, we were going to try to get you a fair contract, but nobody knows what the fair contract is. The rallies happened. Everybody put on your fight like hell shirts, and that's it. Now go to trainings. It's almost repetitive. It's the same thing, and you get the people that believe that the post office is broke. Then all of a sudden these reports come out with the $866 million in the grievance process. I mean, that right there is a good start, for why the post office is broke because nobody's following the contract. Um, but we're not going to hear that portion of that. We're just going to hear how everything's broken. They kind of give you this hard luck story and make you believe that. And then, just people come out of the crowd and they get up there and they say stuff about it. So it's like a back and forth, it's like a chess match there for a little bit. But for the most part, the presidents get on board with what Renfro has going on in Region 12. That's really the challenge, John. I think that the rank and file doesn't, though. We got screwed. Everybody got screwed. Look, Step P made out pretty good. They got $1,000. They get full colas. We don't get full colas. Who in here is getting full colas besides I see Groskopf or maybe Capone? No, none of us are at that top step level. You know what I'm saying? So if this $250 cola that's coming out here that everybody's all excited for, well, I hate to break it to you, but if you're down at the lower tier of that, you're probably only going to get like $160.
Well, it
So
is interesting that there's something in the House about getting the retirees the full COLA. And I think Greg had mentioned before
I think it's a
about
Senate.
going after that, either contractually or through the Hill, because if we're going to get the retirees the full COLA, we got to get the workers the full COLA too at all the steps.
yeah, I agree, man. There's so much stuff on the Hill that I think that we should really be kicking in a little bit more for too. But yeah, I agree. If you can do that for if you could do that for the clerks, they get full calls. So if they like, that's the part I don't understand. Let's weigh out the clerks, right? You got the clerks. They make what do they start at, John? You said it was what, $28 that around there, and we want our starting pay should be probably around 30 to start out. So the clerks don't go outside. They don't have dogs chasing them down the street. They don't have a supervisor up their ass. They don't got people flopping out of trees doing COVID operations in the street telling them, oh, I see you got an earbud in. Like all this stuff that's going on out there. But they seem to be set up pretty good.
Well, and
Now,
that's through 100% colas all the way through. Once we gave that up,
exactly.
and in '99 we had the harder work, higher pay situation where we fought for that. They got the 100% cola, which just kept pushing them further and is going to keep pushing them further over us.
Yeah. Uh,
I thought that
The
I saw
colas.
that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Margaret.
No, you're good. Well, I just wanted to say I thought that I saw something where it said that the estimated cola, like back when I don't remember when it had come out, but there was something that said that they had estimated this cola that ended up being $250 for the top step, ended up yeah, they thought that it was gonna be like $650 back
Hmm.
when they
Oh, that's how they
Yeah.
had
showed the
predicted.
contract. The percentages, they added the estimated colas, hoping that that was expected what we'd get, and you see how that worked out.
Right.
100%. And when that came out, when they first showed those numbers, I think it was at a COP was when I first grasped those numbers, and I put together like like I said, I'm an analytical guy. I'll sit here and start working numbers and stuff like that. And I went to DC we had that one rap session down in DC, and I had to go up to the mic. Like I don't go up to the mic unless I see the wheels are coming off the bus, and then I got to go up there. And there's a ton of dudes that filmed it. I'm sure you could go find it online. But I had to go up there because I was being sold that I was getting a 27% raise. All right, well, this contract's done. Where's my 27% raise? Because I never got it. Like he was basically putting in our step level increases, full colas. Like he had the colas thought out that what they were going to be like almost a year away. Like you don't know what that is. Colas only work on how the economy's working. You might not get nothing. So I had to go make that point down there, and it wasn't a question I really wanted to ask him. I just had to make his head was not right with that negotiating for that contract, because I sat there for 2 years and heard this, and this, but then when it actually happened, it was this, and this, and we didn't get any of this shit. So even though we said we didn't want this, we still got it. We got to do better at negotiating.
Well, Bill, they always talk about they like to add in the colas and the wage increases, but they always leave out the increase that in the part of the health insurance that we have to cover. And if anybody thinks that that's
Right.
ever going to go down, it's never going to go down. So like, if they want to get anything done, and I don't know what your feelings on this, and obviously I think you would agree, we need the Postal Service to cover more of our health insurance. And
Absolutely.
I'm under the belief that the only way that could happen is through the legislative process. Like, I hate the idea like, oh, the union has to help save the post office. Well, we all just saved them $1 billion by the grievance procedure, by retention. There's $1 billion right there. But it's the health insurance that's the problem, because we can get all the colas we want, but it's just offset. Like this last cola might offset the health coverage that everybody's paying, especially in the family plan. So I'm under the belief a lot of these things that has to get done is through the legislative process. And I don't know what your feelings are on the legislative process, how much input you would have down there in Region 12 with the state. I think that most state associations can do a lot more, even if you have every candidate in the state or every politician in the state that supports the post office, there's always more to do. There's always new bills to propose, like more coverage for health insurance or.
Greg, I agree 100%. My wife, I don't talk about her too much. She has MS, so my wife is wheelchair bound. That is how I ended up in the post office. I had a successful audiovisual company where I went around and did sound and stuff like that. I'm a musician, so that was what I did. But at that point, I knew I didn't have benefits to cover that when that happened. So I had to go. I took my veteranship because I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I went and applied at the post office. I think that the health benefits that we have, it went through the roof. It's ridiculous that you're 100% right. What we got paid doesn't even offset that, because when this contract should have been negotiated, because we waited 700 and plus days for this thing to happen, that $10 back then is only probably like $5 now. I mean, the
Mm.
cost of living went through the roof. And you look at like the UPS and all that, those guys went out, they don't pay anything for their health care. I mean, like we're almost the same damn thing, except we're in the weather elements. We carry mail. I don't think a UPS guy could do our job. Would he be able to take a package to the door? Probably, yeah. I mean, that's what he does. Is he going to be able to carry 30 pounds in his satchel, all those flats in his arm and his mail in his hand, and have a dog chasing you down the street? No. So
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I don't think people appreciate the amount of people that start this job and quit and say, I thought it was just putting paper in a box, and it's hand-eye coordination. It's trying to drive a vehicle that should have been put out of its misery years ago. It's the weather elements. It's not an easy job. And maybe if you get in there, the NALC nationally can do a better job of really appealing to the public, because we're starting to lose a little favor with the public the more and more they downgrade the service. And like they cut mail recently in a lot of places because of the bad weather up here. It's not gonna go over well with the public the more and more we do stuff like that. So yeah, we should really be fighting harder at the national level to show the public that, we kind of got our hands tied behind our back sometimes. We want to provide you with service, but the postal service doesn't allow us to do that sometimes.
I agree 100%. And you guys actually educated me. I came on to one of your shows where you guys were talking about the rally that was coming up. And I was really sick when I came on. I didn't speak much, but I wanted to listen to how you guys organize and how you guys come together. And the fact that I believe, like I said before, you don't want to be a person just standing on the side of the road with a sign, just waving at cars as they go
Right.
by. And, you might see 10 cars, but to get together as a rolling, like almost like a mob unit going down the street and going to where you need to go, and then have your talks there, that makes everybody stop. Because I think you guys said you got to get permits and stuff to do. Like, I've never been a part of something like that where we just took over a whole street and went down. To me, that makes more sense, because now there's a bunch of you and you're coming down the street and the dude on the side says, what the F is that coming down the street? Like it's a herd of people. Like it's either the
Yeah.
Walking Dead movie or they're out there protesting something. So um I think that you guys really educated me on that, and I do believe that there should be more, because Greg, there's a lot of things that's legislated that we need to do more on, like the Federal Retirement Act. Like I said before, I was a CCA for a year and 9 months. I'm 53 years old. I'd like to have that time back.
Mm.
It doesn't make sense to me that people are now PTFs coming out of the academy in this spot, but they're CCAs over here when we work in the same building. We're doing the same thing. So why shouldn't that time count with that? I think that that's HR 1522. There's so many things that legislate that we need to fight, and to be able to get bipartisan people on board and stuff like that. That's beautiful. I mean, the fight for the protect the letter carriers, where you had the Republicans actually coming out and saying, yeah, we're on board with you with this. What are we going to do? But I always leave
Even
that
with
to my
the
Huckleberry Grosskopf to handle all the political stuff.
Well, and you're right about the rallying and stuff. I have an old postal record behind my desk, and I think I shared it with Greg and Murphy, where it was 1999. There's thousands of letter carriers in these huge groups marching up and down the street and stuff like that. And then we changed it in for standing outside our office, where getting the message out, even on the HR 70, what we should be having something planned for that big to push the politicians to do it. Everywhere in the news, because that's one, protecting the letter carriers. That should
Yeah.
be passed by every single one of them. And earning your time back. The TE. Bill, I think you're in the same boat as my vice president. I think he lost like 6, 7 years. And he's
Yeah.
not a young kid no more. So that's 6, 7 years. Buying that back is huge for him.
Yeah, it's huge for a lot of people. You got to think at some point the table one people are going to all be retired at some point ahead of us. But yeah, I mean, it's huge. If I could get them years back, that changes my whole dynamic of when I could retire. That changes my numbers altogether. The question would be is, would I move up in the step increases with that? Like, there's a lot of questions with it, because
Yeah.
if I'm here, would I move up to here because really I should have been there? I don't know. I never hear like an actual reasoning why these things haven't been pushed enough. I think that we should be. I mean, that's what the political fund's for, right? To go fight these fights, Capone. I mean, if that happened, I think that would be a big morale boost for the whole everybody. All rank and file would be happy with that if they were a CCA or a TE.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why the political fund is also important, not to tail off on that, but I think what I heard, something like 7 to 10% is the amount of carriers across this country that actually donate to the letter carrier political fund. And I heard, I forget who it was speaking, but they were saying, look, we always go for $5. He goes, when I go out there, I say $1. Just put $1 in the political fund. And then I'll come back next year and we'll talk about it. And that I mentioned that to a few of my carriers, got 3 or 4 more to sign up for it because of that suggestion. And it's something that we imagine if we had 50% of carriers donating a letter carrier political fund. The stuff we'd be able to get done on the Hill would be huge.
Speaking of the speaking of the political fund, as of April 2024, Region 12 had just under 11%, so 10.97%. 1 out of 10 members signed up for the LCPF. And the next paragraph down on this booklet says one area we can make progress in is getting our stewards and branch leadership signed up for the fund. I don't know what podcast it was on. It could have been Delivering Solidarity I was listening to the other day, or Bill Kriebel's podcast. Six, what is that? 613?
Yep,
Six what?
613.
613. Sorry, I hardly ever swipe over. I'm never in trouble. So Region 12, there's 10% of the membership on the LCPF fund donating. What do you have to say to that?
I think it's low. I think the legislative people need to step up in the branches and get more people signed up. If you're having troubles with that, then maybe have events to get people signed up in there. There's so many things. The challenges is I believe the rank and file people don't understand where that money's physically going. And when the legislative people step up in the meetings, this is what they should be reporting and explaining it to people. Because I've heard a million people say if you can just get everybody to donate $1, that'll just raise the numbers themselves. I really think that the president's got to back the legislative. If the legislative guy's saying, hey, I want to have a bunch of people out, let's do like a bowling night, we'll try to generate money for the political fund or something like that, then you got to kind of support that because he's trying to get it there. We have Ozzy. Sometimes it was Mark Ashman, but Ozzy comes up to us and we'll bring him up to our clam bakes and stuff like that to give the big speech to everybody. And usually the retirees are there and stuff, and they'll write checks out for him on the spot. But I think it's a lack of educating the rank and file on what it is, because you get these other people. It's like, when you have people living in their cars or in tents or, what have you, they can't afford to give any of their money away because they're strapped. I mean, again, that goes back to the money. If we all made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it'd be different. Yeah, here's a couple $100,000, knock yourself out. But I don't think that people can afford it. And I think that if the legislative guys stepped up and actually presented to what we're actually fighting for, and if that person was a CCA and they said, hey, like this goes towards that for us to fight, I think that would be great.
Yeah,
But we don't.
I bring this
I don't
up.
think we do that enough.
I bring this up because it says one area we can make progress in is getting our stewards and branch leadership signed up for. And one of those podcasts I was listening to talk about how the NALC national leadership always caters to the same people, and the same people are already donating to the PAC fund. You go to a rap session, they beat you to death on donating, and it's like, yo, I'm already
Mm-hmm.
donating. You go to the convention, it's like, I'm already donating. Oh, you go to a union meeting, it's like, I'm already donating. It's like, how can our national union connect the LCPF to the rank and file? And I think Bill Kriebel, hopefully the next NBA of Region 12. I think I heard this on your podcast, 613 the other day, talk about how once the snow melts, you're going to start going out on Sundays to do CCA Sundays, PTF Sundays at different
Yeah.
offices across Pennsylvania and South Jersey. Can you explain on what your idea is?
Yeah. Like I can't go everywhere where the business agent can go. So like I try to create things that I can reach the rank and file, the CCAs. I think the CCAs are very important because they're our future. I've said before, I do go into the academy every week because my office is right there, and I go in and meet all the people that are coming around the area. I talk to them about hold downs on 60 days and getting your uniforms once you hit 90. The basic stuff in the beginning. Make sure you come to work. I I think that I should go to stations on Sundays. My plan is to go there, with flyers or information, just like a little meet and greet. Here's some coffee. Here's some donuts. My name's Bill Kriebel. I was you at one time, and kind of give them a good luck story on themselves to build them up, because a lot of CCAs are thinking about quitting already. They're there on a Sunday. They're working their ass off all week, and like here's this guy standing in front of me. So like, but if I could go there and I could kind of give them that boost of morale that I was in that position at one time where I didn't want to do it anymore, you know, you got to teach them how to adapt and overcome. So I think that if you saw my face and who I am, and the fact that I actually want to get up on my Sunday morning and go to a station, no matter where it is, I'm there to. I want to meet you guys. I want to be a part of it. I want to show my face because if you didn't put either of us there, if the business agent was there, who do you think he's going to be? They're going to be able to point out me or him because they don't know what he looks like.
So
So I think that's a game plan.
there's 6 months, 7 months to the election. I think it's in September. Is that the NALC election is in September?
Probably
A month after
October.
Yeah.
the October.
Mm.
So there's like 7 months, 8 months to the National Association of Letter Carriers election. Kriebel, if there's anyone listening in Region 12 and they want to help organize with you as a captain or something inside their branch, because there's no way you get to all 50 branches to talk to all the offices, right? There's 50 branches, but you have to get to every office. If there's a rank and file member or anyone that wants to help get with you, is there an email or a phone number you want to give out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna put my phone number up because that'll light up like you wouldn't believe. But I'll give my email address out. It's William Kriebel. My last name is spelled Kriebel 26 at gmail.com. You can reach me on any of the platforms on Facebook. You could go to my own personal one. I think I'm friends with almost the whole United States on there. And you could go onto my campaign page, William Kriebel 26, Region 12 candidate, CLC candidate, and I'll pop up on there. I answer you back. I get back with everybody. I've met a lot of people just because of them reaching out like that. But I definitely would always get back to anybody with any kind of questions. I actually help right now, and I'm not even the MBA. So,
So I bring this up because there's such a, I would say, apathy right now because of the weather, the tentative agreement being forced through. So I think it's just one thing after another. The dominoes are falling because I see it from like branch presidents and branch unionship of even you just said like I don't even know what we're fighting for the contract, and that's like apathy, right?
yeah.
Whereas if it was Rolando 3 years ago saying, "Hey, we're going to fight for a fair contract," everyone would be like, "Oh, we're fighting for what we passed at the convention resolutions, right? Like that's what we
Hmm.
fight for." And we're like, "Where are these convention resolutions?" They're like, "Oh, it's at the convention." And it's like, "Where the fuck are these things?" So now all these people that were telling me that like 2 years ago, it's like, "Oh, we don't know what we're fighting for." It's like, come on, you guys all know that the rhetoric has changed. We're beaten down so much that now everyone just has that defeatist attitude. And it's not healthy because one way or another, this union is at a crossroads. It's either going to go the right way or veer to the wrong way with the next contract and the next union election. And we probably won't be able to recover in the next decade. So I'm
No,
reaching out to the carriers that are listening. To the carriers that are listening, it's pretty much branch presidents have already made up their mind who they're voting for. And it's probably a guarantee that branch union leadership at this point have probably already made up their mind on who they're voting for. And we can no longer allow the executive council to sit back and just coast through. So everyone that's listening needs to pay attention to the business agent positions, the trustee positions, all these positions. So if you're in Region 12 and you kind of want to help Bill Kriebel, you want to get to know Bill Kriebel, reach out to him, invite him to your branch. If you're a CCA or PTF, tell him to come through on a Sunday and get your coworkers because if he shows up on a Sunday, no one's going to stop for him. But if you're with them and you have a rapport with your coworkers, you could get 3 or 4 more coworkers to stop before they walk into that office to clock in because Bill Kriebel can't just walk into the post office on a Sunday. The management will be like, you don't belong here, get the fuck out of here. So he's gonna have to do
right.
parking lot meetings, parking lot rallies. And this is up for the rank and file. This is where the power comes in. I say this because there's a lot of people that are concerned letter carrier supporters, and I feel like they're really relying on Corey Walton's podcast from Aid Arbitration and social media to get out the vote. And the numbers don't say that. The numbers say that's a very small-minded filter bubble. Like we're all in a bubble. And we need to talk to our coworkers. We all have two coworkers, one to the left of us and one to the right of us.
Hmm.
And if we just talk to one of them, if we just talk to one of them about who's running for a business agent, you could change our direction. Because as Greg just said, Renfro might get reelected, but if we could change the structure, the the diversity of the executive council, it'll be a big win going forward. So hopefully anyone that's
I
listening,
think so.
this also applies to other regions as well. And then I also want to plug uh organizing, right? When you go to a parking lot and you meet these CCAs on Sundays, PTFs on Sundays, or the overtime desire list on a Sunday, that'd be a golden ticket, right? You always have to be like, you greet yourself, you meet them, and then you leave them with a demand, like an ask, right? You want them to do something. And I would suggest for anyone that's running for a national business agent position to create a Discord. Say a Region 12 Discord, break into South New Jersey and Pennsylvania, break it by down by branch. Because if you get elected into Region 12, that's your communication right there. That's how you start connecting with your rank and file members. You want to start doing monthly meetings with the rank and file and the stewards, whereas you could just go on our Discord and jump onto the audio channel on a Sunday and just listen to people vent. Like you were saying on your podcast the other day, you don't want to just have it be like, oh, fuck this, fuck that. You want to hear constructive criticism.
Right, right.
That is where the WhatsApp and the Discord comes in because people could start DMing people and you could just like delete ones that don't work and just go down the list of everything. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm cheerleading.
I
I have no criticisms or questions because Alan Gigax with Classes of Mail did a great episode back in January 27th called Region 12 NBA candidate Bill Kriebel. And he asked a lot of the questions that I wanted to ask, and you answered them very professionally. So I'm just like, I'm gonna put them in the
Thanks.
show notes. I'm gonna put them in the show that podcast episode in the show notes. So I'm hoping Greg Capone and Margot could start asking you tough questions because, like I said, I don't deal with arbitration. I'm just a city carrier, so I don't know how the high levels are. And when people like I put this Zoom everywhere, and I think there's a vice president or a branch president out of Pennsylvania was like, he doesn't have the experience.
I hear that a lot.
But as a table two carrier, all these table one carriers in the executive council, quote unquote, have experience, and somehow a tentative agreement got shoved through, and not one person actually spoke out against it, except for James Henry and Mike Cariff. Um, is weird. Somehow the people with experience is letting this union crumble to pieces.
Well,
So I think we need a new direction, and I think um I heard James Henry the other day talk about it, and this is why I favor this. Vince Sobrato, he ran right for national president. He lost three times. Me and Capone talk about this, and the NALC has rode that coattail for the past 40 years now, and now the chicken or the rooster has come home to roost, and people don't know what to do. So I think we need a new vision. I think that people like Bill Kriebel have that energy, they have that compassion. So anyone that is listening, don't dismiss this dude. If you're in Region 12, if you're in Pennsylvania, reach out to him, get to know him, because for all we know, he could be the next NELC president after he becomes business agent, because I think that's what we're about to see happen, right? I think there's a business agent that recently just became a business agent that's about to step up and run for a presidency. That's a rumor, but
Breaking
we all know
news.
how you just climb the ladder. So I think I think Bill Kriebel has a future here, and I think
yeah,
everyone should pay attention to him.
my focus right now is to fix in Region 12 because I need to restore the transparency in it. There has, we have to strengthen our communications and prioritize the education like we spoke about. These are the things that I think we need to do. When we talk about experience. I mean, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the piece of paper that you get from National because you attended one of their trainings? Or are we talking about the fact that I'm a workroom floor carrier that's a table two carrier that I'm going to go up and fight for you guys in the national level? I'm the guy that says the same shit you guys say every morning when you go to work. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Why is my health care now? I don't make enough money to cover my offset in the health care. I say the same shit as you guys, but I have experience. I have formally and beyond training. I'm advanced OWCP trained. Like there's not a lot of classes in that advanced stage of it. And I'm one of those guys that actually went through that. I was an injured carrier and I learned a lot about OWCP and I went to a lot of trainings on that. I've been branch officer trained for anybody that doesn't know what that is out there. But if you go to that, that's where they scare the shit out of you. What happens with your
Mhm.
money if it goes south? There's a lot more to being a president than being than Article 8's in discipline. It's a business you're trying to run there. And I've always been a leader. I mean, let's start with the Leadership Academy. I'm a United States Marine. I got all the leadership skills I need right there with the United States Marine Corps. I've been a leader my entire life in every job I've ever been through. I'm a businessman. I ran a successful business. Like I said before, I came to the post office for my wife. I had to take one for the team, right? But I didn't put my body through those CCA years just to quit and go off and go back and do my thing because now that I got stuff situated, I'm coming out of here with a pension.
So
Absolutely.
you mentioned the education, and that is actually, Murphy mentions it and the experience. It's more when they're talking about Leadership Academy or arbitration classes, Step B classes. And the thing that kind of sucks in regards to that is it's kind of designed only to have people who've been here for a long time to
Mhm.
run for positions or a control of it. Because basically, you send in your application, your MBA has to sign it to even get it sent up.
All right,
So,
let me stop you right there, though, Capone, because what
yeah.
you just said right there seems that's where the wheels come off the bus. My
Mm-hmm.
applications have been in for leadership almost 5 times. I've been shot down now. I've been in for advocate for arbitration because I feel like I'm a solid arbitrator in our region that nobody wants to look at. I have my applications put in for the Step B training because at one time I thought that that's what I really wanted to go do because I could negotiate. I could sell the refrigerator to an Eskimo, so but the thing is he never fills those portions out. They're sitting right on his desk. They've never get submitted. So how do I
Mm-hmm.
go get those trainings if you don't put me in those trainings?
Can I follow up on that, Bill?
Yeah, absolutely, my man.
So how many, like, give me a number. How many times did you put in for any of those trainings? Just give me a
Uh,
random, like the number you guessed.
I'm going to say 5 for the Leadership Academy. And I want to say um, at least 4 years for advocate for arbitration and 4 years for Step B training. I definitely, since I've been a president, I've been trying to get in those classes.
How many after you announced you were running against him or you officially joined the
None,
CLC?
nothing. I
But
can't
you,
get enough. I'm blacklisted, so there's no way I'm getting into anything.
so so there's the problem I have, and I would give the CLC the same criticism, just like I gave the CLC criticism when they originally when you guys originally said, "Oh, he can't fire those two RAAs." Well, technically he can fire them, but this is now I'll criticize the other side. You have someone that's willing to learn,
Hmm.
wants to learn, wants to be a leader, wants to go to step B. I don't know too many people that really want to do that, but you want to. You obviously have the ability because you get elected president of your branch. I don't even care if it's by affirmation, but you don't, it's politics. And when you play politics, this is why playing politics in the union is a problem because you might leave out the next great advocate or the next great president. So, I mean, I would appeal to everybody running. It's time to stop playing the political game and do what's best for the carrier. Because I don't really care who's elected. Like I'm a branch president of my branch is almost the same size as your branch. All I
Right.
care about is my members and all the members, but particularly my members and who's going to do the best for them. I don't care who the business agent is, as long as when I call there, they pick up the phone. And I get a member that has a problem that they're there for me. And my business agent has been. And if it's another business agent, hopefully he will be too. But when you play politics with people's, membership essentially, that's where I really have a problem with either side, whoever's in charge. You know, you're if I was in your region right now, I'd vote for you. I'm not in your region. I mean, call it maybe because we're friendly and I like you and I like listening to you talk. And I've never heard Brian talk. So if Brian was on, we would ask Brian the same questions. So, but I just don't like the how it's become so political. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
I,
yeah,
I'm not big on that myself, but it does seem that like I knew what I was getting myself into when I
yeah,
signed up to go in with the CLC. The one thing you can't say is I'm not a fighter. You can never say that to me because everybody that knows me knows that I am. I'll give the people the shirt off my back. I'm a businessman. I'm a successful businessman. Like I was content doing my audiovisual company because it was successful and I knew how to run it. I knew how to make money. My branch, when I took my branch over, like I had a lot of challenges when I first took my branch over. There was no money, so I had to figure out how to get our money back. Our investments, we had it in a colossal failure of a money market account that made like 12 cents a year. I had to get all that and get that out. You had to make motions, you had to make bylaw changes, everything. They had to change almost damn near everything that was built before because it was not being done properly.
yeah,
And I'm very much by the book. My stewards and anybody that's a part of my executive council just tell you the same thing. I'm no bullshit. Like I had to literally at one point put one of my shop stewards and remove him from his duties because he lost his way and he wasn't listening, but I brought him back. It took some time, but he came back and we work hard together. I'm not about damaging anybody's careers. I'm about building followers, not leaders inside the region, Greg. Like, I don't want
right.
people to just ride my coattail. I have a lot of knowledge. I understand what I'm doing. I know how to fight the contract. I have a very excellent winning percentage. I mean, when you look at the advocacy for arbitrational classes and people want to throw that in my face because I don't have that experience. Well, let's look at numbers, right? So in Region 12 alone, and within the last so many years, we have a 49% denied. Like that's as far as a whole. We do not win in arbitration. We have an arbitrator that used him for so long, which I don't know why. I think he's gone because I have heard other presidents talk about him. But arbitrator Brown was killing everybody. He probably killed people within your own region. In our region, we had a 62% losing percentage before we even got in the door with the guy. So when we talk about experience, here's these numbers. My numbers are 0 for 0. I haven't lost yet. So I don't agree with the educational part where people don't think I have experience because I do have experience. It's like I said before, I'm a leader. I'm a born leader. I'm a guy, I'm very down to earth. You can have conversations with me. I mean, I built a podcast just so I could go talk to rank and file people throughout the region, Greg. I didn't want to build that for that. But if I can't go to the same places that Thompson's going to, I need to be able to reach that because those presidents will not let me in the door at all at their union meetings. Now, there's a handful of them that say yes. There is a good chunk of presidents that are down with me, and they do support the CLC. They speak to me all the time, and for those presidents that I can't get in their stations or their halls to talk to people, I'll come out there and I will meet you in a bar with wings and pizza, and we could just have a meet and greet anywhere. I'll pay for it. I mean, as long as we're having a conversation, you get to know me for who I am. Like Capone and John, I don't think I've really met you yet, but Greg, I've met you.
Hmm.
We've had a lot of conversations together. I mean, I'm not an asshole. I'm not a guy that's coming off there. I sit there. We talk about everything from freaking music to whatever, that's what we need. We need
I
a
went to the
person
Rock
like
and Roll
that.
Hall of Fame with Bill.
Yeah. And it's always good when you could go to a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with another musician because then the story's really good because what he likes and I like, but that's a whole nother podcast. But, like it's good if you have a person that's willing to fight the fight, but you can also relate to the person and have a conversation with them. A person that will sit and listen to what you have to say because, look, all of us have opinions about how our regions are supposed to work and how it's supposed to operate. It just doesn't do that. It all sounds good on paper when they present it to you, but nobody's doing it. Like we hear them talking about the Step B teams all the time, and every time they go up and talk about it, we're 10 more thousand files deep. Like, what are we doing to fix all that stuff? Let's create some more teams and get more teams out there. Let's get more advocates for arbitration and take this shit to the let's fight the fight, right?
You're about to hear another step get created. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna create more bureaucracy to benefit the management. Hey, I have a pop quiz though.
Oh
Um,
boy.
so you're always on Richie Ray's podcast, The Hot House with Richie Ray, you and Walt McGregory. Um, if anyone that needs a podcast, that podcast is worth tuning into. Kriebel's on there, pretty much talking local issues. They did an episode about delivering mail during the winter, and you guys talked about headlamps.
Mhm.
Do you think National should come out against or for including headlamps into our official uniform?
I think that that should be a part of it, but I don't think you can wear the coal miner lamps. I think that for some reason there was a safety issue that came out with them. So there would have to be a certain design that came out. Like I'm a military guy, so I've spoke about it before where the green, that green that reflects because it pops the letters on the letters for you and you can still see in front of you, but where that white just distracts your eyes, and then when you come out of that you can't see. So somewhere there was a safety. So if that was clarified, fixed, yes, I agree with that. I also think shock straps should be a part of the uniform allotment too, because you're carrying that weight. And if why would I have to carry that old satchel thing that they give you when I want something with a cushion to make my shoulders last a little longer? Yeah, I would agree with that, John.
All right, cool. Because this is a real pop quiz right now. If Brian Thompson comes up for re-election, would you and him be able to sit down and have a roundtable debate discussion on your platforms?
I don't see that ever happening. I don't. I just don't see that happening.
Well,
I'm
here he
always willing
is.
to. Yeah, right. Bring it on. No, I'm just kidding.
I got a question. Greg,
Look,
I thought you
I
were going to
don't.
keep this unpolitical.
Yeah, right. I don't. I think
That was,
that. What's that?
that was Frank Gregg. I don't know. He unmuted himself, but
Oh, at Altoon. One of
we'll
the
open the floor up.
808s.
We'll open the floor up a little bit later.
Right. So, I forgot where we were there, but anyhow, I kind of got distracted by that one. So look, there's a lot of change that needs to happen, John. I do think that the headlamps is a good idea. I do think we could do stuff like that. I don't know about debating Thompson. I don't ever see something like that happen because we can't even have a conversation as like a business agent and a president. I don't know what kind of platform that would be on. I'm not about bashing the guy. I'm a businessman that's very educated, and I don't see what's working. What they're doing right now is working. I think it needs to be fixed. And with being a businessman, I feel like I'm a problem. I could fix that problem. And I have plans set out to do it. I mean, I have implementation plans that are in my agenda that tells you how I'm going to go about doing it. I think just having open communication with the rank and file is a leg up on anything because that's the one thing that he doesn't have. I mean, if you swapped our roles out, I'm probably going to succeed in that position where if he had to go carry my route for a week, we might have a different story. You know, I don't know if he could do that. So I
What's
don't
the
know.
biggest grievance that's coming out of your region? I imagine what Article 8.
Article 8's are through the roof. Ever since they went to these two lists, the NS list and the regular and the 12-hour ODL list, like you kind of took away all the people that we could grieve on the one thing, and now you got only well. So Article 8's run away
So
every day.
force mandate,
Yeah,
other
forced
than
mandate.
equitability. How would you
No,
deal with
I
that?
don't have so much with the equability. Equabilities, I mean, I don't know about other branches in the region. I'm able to get my equabilities all done. I don't have an issue getting the equabilities done because I give, like I said to you guys before on the roundtable, with the equabilities, I give them that information every week. So it's really hard to go against the numbers at the end of the quarter when you have the numbers going forth every week. So it's their job to keep everybody equitable. It's not my job. And I even tell them where the Mason-Dixon line is, to where the payout's going to
Well,
come. You know what I'm saying?
so how would you address the forced mandate issue? Do you have a game plan for it?
Well, how I would address it is I would go to the executive council and let's get our cease and desist language back, and let's be able to escalate monetary revenues. Because if you the cease and desist means to stop, and they're not doing that. So if we can whack them in the wall real hard, maybe they might stop. So of something that would be you're paying out 11 and a half hours of overtime. Imagine if we doubled that. Imagine if it got doubled after that. I bet you it stops eventually. You know, the step Bs, I think their biggest challenge is attendance right now. I think that's probably one of the contractual. Well, people just don't come to work. I don't know how that gets fixed because you could lead the horse to water, but people don't come to work for some reasons. I think non-compliance is big in the region. I think that there's just so many things that need fixed. I don't know, man. But the equability, I think that that's able to be resolved in house. I would say Article 8 is probably the heaviest one because you're burning out the workforce. I don't understand why National don't step in and try to help us out with that more because they could help out big time with a national grievance on the forcing because they don't give a shit. I don't. They force everybody in the office, and that's how they get around the list. Everybody's getting a piece. I could look at the whiteboards, these whiteboards that they put up, and if I see more than two people's name on a route, I know they didn't force right. I don't need to look at stuff because I look at tax reports every week for the Article 8s. I actually write our Article 8s for my branch. I have it down to a science. They pay it out. There's no argument. So I don't send zero files out to Step B. So in the last 3 years, I think I got Capone about 1,030 in Article 8s, and they're all wins.
Bill, what's
How
your
do you
Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to ask really quick. It's kind of off subject from what we're talking about right now, but I guess I just wanted to ask what do you expect out of contract negotiations this time around? Like I keep hearing word on the street, people keep saying, "Oh, I think it's going to go really fast this time." Some people think differently. But what do you think? What do you think we can expect out of contract negotiations? And if when the CLC wins, what can we expect to change about the process?
Great question. I don't know what we're going to see because that's not disclosed right now with this one coming up. I mean I know that the man's at it, but I mean what he talks about and what he actually does is they're two different things. I mean I wish he would go and get us up to $30 an hour for people, and that would boost everybody up. I wish we would get rid of the table too. I mean we've gone through all that, but none of this is being done. So I don't know what to expect as far as that. I could tell you that when the CLC takes over and we're ready to negotiate this contract, or if this thing gets drung out to the part where we actually are the ones negotiating it, I bet your ass we're fighting for the letter carrier. Every one of us, because we're all for light blue. We care about the job. Some of us carry mail. I mean, Corey and I both carry mail. We're people on the floor with you. So we want the same stuff. Like I want a higher uniform allowance. I want to be able to offset my health care. I mean, I have a family. I have two daughters. Like, and imagine it's a lot. You got when you have homeless people and stuff like that, and we're not fighting for that higher wage, that kills me, man. It kills me because the passion for the letter carry, the post office itself, the service is gone. As far as that, they're going to cry they're broke all the time. But when you see mail just sitting there and nothing's going out, and they don't give a shit about the expresses, they don't care about the certifieds anymore during our DPS. Like everything's gone with the service. We saw that through the snowstorms. We saw it in COVID. They don't give a shit. So to me, the service is kind of gone, but we got to protect our letter carriers at the same time because these guys are out there schlepping their asses off every day and they're not getting rewarded for anything. What do you get rewarded with, Margo? A 1.3% raise? Yeah, big shit. I just got a $250 raise. Oh, wait, I didn't get that. I only got 160 of that. That's about a 12-cent raise. You know?
Yeah. Ouch.
Bill, what's your opinion on the inspection? Would you like the route adjustment? I feel like I don't know if you were around. You must have been around, but I don't know if you were present for the J wrap or the CD wrap. They got rid of the joint process, and now they're back to the full blown route inspections. And I feel like this is the way for them to try to save money by like headquarters is saying, "Oh, we want to basically cut." They'll throw a number out there. Like in my office, they wanted 10 routes, but they'll take six, stuff
Hmm.
like that. They've kind of given up on the joint thing because I think they can get roots out of the old way of inspecting, and they're running into an issue with that because at least in the urban areas, there's more growth, there's just less mail. So, and like you look at things they're doing with possibly having us take pictures of the parcels, which will take a little bit
Right.
extra time. So, as like the business age, the MBA of Region 12, what is your opinion? And would you focus a lot on more training? Is there enough training in Region 12? I don't know if you guys had a bunch of those offices went through the inspection the last year or two.
We have had trainings. It's probably not enough trainings for some of the smaller offices. I would have to say when they do trainings, it pops up in one single area. Like Philadelphia will have a training. So if you're able to get your people down to Philadelphia to do the training, then there it is. I mean, but we have technology nowadays. Why
Right.
can't we do that training online? I mean, we very easily can have full blown route adjustment trainings there. The route adjustment trainings, I've gone through several of them. I've actually gained in my station, gained routes. I didn't lose any because I definitely press into the heads. Everybody, don't run your routes. You have an 8 hour route, make it an 8 hour route. Um, Sometimes I don't really think the mail's decreased a lot because in my eyes, in the last freaking few months, it's been. I mean, I think we're getting more mail now than we did at Christmas time. That don't even make sense to me. So I don't see that as a losing thing, and there is mail. The one thing I do suggest to people with the route inspections is at the end of it, if the core team comes into it, I was always a big fan to put the changes at the back of the red book and allow the carrier to make the change to where they want to put that into their red book at or where the changes come in. But what they do in the core system, and I caught it during my inspection, is they start rerouting your whole route. They think that if you're
Right.
here, you could go here, go here, go here, and it saves you time. So when you're losing 45 minutes on the route, all of a sudden it turns out you're gaining 5 minutes back because of the way they readjusted everything. But you always got to remember the carrier knows that route the best, not
Mhm.
DOAS. So you got to take notes and stuff when you're doing these where there are discrepancies in the route inspection. Like I was always taught to carry a paper when you get back. You could dot down if there was any obstacles. Like right now for an inspection, it would be awesome in the Northeast because there's freaking snow everywhere and you can't cut through people's yards. So I mean,
That's
it
why
takes more
that's why
time.
they canceled mine, Bill, because there was snow everywhere.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably freezing. They ain't coming out there to
No,
go
they don't
do
want to sit in
that.
the back of an LLV when it's 3 degrees out.
So the inspection process, I like the I did kind of like the way that the scanner when you're I mean the scanners are never correct and all that,
Right.
but I've only been a part of the last inspection process that went through. So I did it 3 times. There was no errors. My carriers actually showed up and they did their routes, and the people that didn't, I just moved the territory over. There definitely needs to be more inspections on it. I mean, Corey himself has done several episodes on his paid arbitration on route inspections, and I think almost every podcaster in America has done route inspections. Like we drill this education into you, but the challenge is it should be the business agents going out there and doing that for you, not Corey and all these guys that came up with podcasts. I think that's something to where you put teams together. Look, we got all these people that are in the leadership academy because people like to throw the education part around. Well, why don't we create these people and make them into teams to go out and educate people on these things, right? You went there for something. So become a leader, help us educate. I think that we should be going to the smaller branches. You got branches that don't even have no clue what the route adjustment is, and their president, like some of our branches are really far apart. So your president's not like in the backyard, like I'm actually working with my people. Their president might be like 4 counties over.
Right.
They're only seeing their people maybe once in a blue moon. We need to go there, teach them the route inspection. Look, we got PowerPoints. There's so many technical people now, Greg, in the world that we could build anything you want and educate you on anything you want. And we could put together, we could come to your front door and educate you right there in your home station. We don't do that. So
Yeah.
I
Okay,
could get
Murphy.
diarrhea in the mouth, man. I could say
No,
it all
you're good.
day.
You're good. You're good. I thought Murphy was about to say something, so I didn't want to interrupt.
No, Mario, you have anything left? I feel like we could, all right. Capone, anything?
No, I think that's it. I mean, in regards to, you said attendance was a huge disciplinary issue.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, they're always going to move that around, so I don't see how you really go about that other than, I'm guessing, educating the stewards so they all know how to fight it when they run across it.
Yeah, I try to teach people in my branch meetings. I'll bring in, I have all my PowerPoint slides, so I try to educate them when we don't have a lot going on and going over what your sick note should actually look like. Have it have it like what they think is compliant and what it is. Who gives a shit? If you're hurt, you're hurt. The doctor is the one that tells you you're hurt, not the person that's never seen you. I don't ever understand that stuff, but I try to educate them on that. FMLA, even with EAP for some people that do have serious issues, because you can argue EAP and your grievance process. I think that there needs to be more education on that stuff. So Capone, yeah, agree.
All right, we got Stephanie in the chat. Stephanie LaGreca, you want to introduce yourself? And she has a question for Kriebel.
I know who she is.
He better know who I am. Um, so I guess what I would just want to point out, and Bill's right, there's no education in this region. There's no training. You can beg, ask, and plead, and you don't get it. It's been the same classes every year for the last 6 years that I've been here. I haven't learned anything. You can put in applications left and right. It doesn't get sent to you. You don't get sent. You don't get to go. And then when you ask why, you get told, well, you're on a list. You're on a list. You'll get to go when it's your time. You'll get to go when it's your time, or you'll get to do this. I can't tell you how many people, when I was calling branch presidents in our region, that don't know the route inspections, that don't know basic stuff, and they asked me, and they would reach out to me and call me because they didn't know. And they still are calling me because they don't know. And that's not fair to them. So if you have branch presidents who don't know, your stewards definitely don't know.
Mhm.
And we don't have anyone like, yeah, he doesn't have step B training. No, he doesn't have advocate training. Who cares at this point? Nobody else does. And it hasn't been working. So we just need someone in there who's a quick learner who can get in, get the training, and run with it, who wants to do the work and is willing to put their head to the grindstone and work for us. And Bill is a fast learner. I have no doubt he can do this because what we're doing right now and what we have going on, it does not work. It's really sad. And you better get working.
Stephanie,
Yeah.
are you inside Bill Kriebel's branch? Are you just cheerleading him? Or are you from a
Bill is a
different branch?
very good friend of mine. I'm not gonna lie. He's a good friend of mine, but we have been through the same things with being held back. Um, I'm gonna give a prime example. I turned in an application for arbitration. It was supposedly asked for at National. He didn't send it and threw a hissy fit.
There it is.
I've put in for Leadership Academy. Guess what? I was ranked like 16 out of 18 and he didn't even fill out his portion when he sent it up. I have been screamed at on the phone more than I can count at, been spoken to the point where my husband does not allow me to speak to the business agent on the phone in my house because he gets so angry. That's how loud he can hear him. Just 2 weeks ago, he was on the phone with me, screaming at me in front of my postmaster. I'm sorry, I'm gonna take someone we need something different because it's not working. It's not working. And this is why people are leaving our union and they're not voting in our region.
Cool.
I
All
didn't
right,
pay her
next.
for that either, John. She came out with that all on her own. I
Yeah,
went to formally and beyond training with Stephanie LeGrec, and Steph actually got to see how I handle myself in some of the trainings that they have there, where they make you go up and do the Step B trainings and stuff like that. And I'm a very good negotiator, and she got to see that hands on. So the Steph does help out a lot, and I agree. And she just said the same thing I said. All these people they're talking about experience. Well, how the hell are you supposed to get it? That's something I plan on changing, because if you're a person who wants to go do that, for one, who the hell am I to stop you if your dreams are going to become that? Like I'm not looking for a person that just wants to get out of work. We want fighters. I'll put any fighter that comes to me and wants to go up and fight the fight any day of the week. Why would I say no to that?
the
Experience a
next
little
person.
overrated. I think the first person didn't have experience, right? We're not like handling nuclear weapons here. I think you can probably run the region and not and have little to not none experience, no experience, but you could still probably be a branch president for a couple of years, have the training that you've had, and maybe learn as you go a little, but you might rely on your two RAAs. But I don't think I would argue that lack of experience is not a great argument not to elect Bill Kriebel. But Bill, Murph, can I just ask a real question? Stephanie just kind of got my mind going. Bill, what happens if you lose? Not like what happens if the CLC loses? What happens to the CLC? What happens to Bill Kriebel?
CLC isn't going to lose. Bill Kriebel isn't going to lose. But if lightning gets caught in the bottle and they got me, I'm the president of Branch 254. I'm the same. There's no movement with me. I'm here to fight for you. Look, if you want a table two carrier, it's the same as everybody else, Greg. And I'm out there doing the same job that you're doing, and I'm willing to have that voice on a national level and go up and fight the fight. Why wouldn't you want that? What we have, like you just heard Stephanie come out and say the same thing. It's not working. So if it's not working, there has to be a change because you can't keep going down the same road. We're going to be worse.
Good answer.
So, Bill, I have one. As Murphy read the amount of people that voted in the last election, obviously, carriers not voting is a huge issue. So you got to get out. And how are you planning on getting out to them? And not only that, I don't think we have the percentage, but I guarantee the percentage is high of the people that did vote are usually retirees. So how are you planning on getting the people that didn't vote more activated and actually voting? And how are you going to reach out to the retirees?
That's a great question, Capone, because I had a conversation with you about how we're going to get the rock to vote out. We need to be able to get people to come out and vote. And I asked you guys as next generation carriers to come up with a tagline for it. You guys are good. That's your forte. Come up with something. We'll get every podcaster in this whole post office world to get on board with it, and we're going to go get people to vote. Now, you're right, the retirees are different, but that's why I got my man Corey Walton and James Henry touring the circuit. That's why I created 613, the podcast, to reach those people, because people sit there and they'll listen to that. The retirees is the one thing. They did not vote on the contract, but then you go back and you look at the last election and how they voted in that last election. Like, nobody votes. And I got a feeling that this election, people are going to vote because they're sick of the bullshit. Enough's enough. We want raises. We want a fair wage. We want table two to go away. We want an all-career model. We want more money for uniforms. We want supervisors to quit freaking yelling at us on the workroom floor. No carrier should have to come around the corner to their station and have to take a big sigh of, oh, here I go. What kind of bullshit we got to get into today? That should never be. Ever. And if any of you people out there that do think that this is all running right, and you're not listening to what we're all telling you here, or what the people on the other shows are talking about and stuff, then you're delusional to what's going on in the post office world. You have no idea to what's going on the workroom floor. It might have been all nice sunny day when you were there. Times have changed. Like I said before, the service is gone. And now we have to try to maneuver through the service. Try to bring it back. We're the ones doing all the work. We're the ones educating. The supervisors don't know what the hell's going on. They don't even make decisions for themselves anymore. You have more of whom's running the districts.
I think one thing that kind of has to do with voting, and just like more broadly, like getting carriers involved with the union, involved with voting, all of that. We have these rallies coming up on February 22nd. I think it depends sort of on the area. When you're going to have a rally. I know here in Des Moines, we're going to have one on the 22nd, and we're really excited. But I guess what I wanted to ask is if you are participating in any of the rallies, if you're going to be out there with, out there fighting for all the things that we have spoken about today.
Well, Margot, great question. I will be out there, but I will not be wearing a Fight Like Hell t-shirt. I wouldn't be caught dead with that thing. You
Fair.
won't see me holding them banners. You'll have me holding a sign up that says I want a full cola. You'll have me holding up a sign that says letter carriers deserve more. Like, that's the thing. But like we talked about before, I feel like more of a roving movement is more better than two dudes standing on the side of a road when it's 20 degrees outside and people are just driving by honk, and you raise your hand up in the air and it's like, oh, there he goes. Like, there's got to be more of a message. but I am a person that will be out there. Obviously, I'll have my CLC gear on because I'm a concerned letter carrier for what's going on, and I don't know what the hell we're really fighting for. You know,
Yeah,
the
I just
fact
bought
that
stuff today to make my own signs as well.
and there it is. So like nobody's going, well, there's people that will go out there and put those shirts on because they don't really understand the true meaning of that fight like hell. When you talk about fight like hell to me, I'm thinking of his campaign because we sure as hell didn't fight like hell the last time we went through this. We just went through this shit not even a year ago. There's no fight like hell. Right? Murphy, I'm going to charge you for making you laugh all night, man.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get to Anthony. Anthony has a question or a comment. Anthony, you want to, I think you're unmuted. Want to introduce yourself, branch number, and where you're from, and what's up?
Hi, my name's Anthony Stashewski, branch 500. I'm about 45 minutes north of Harrisburg. Bill, I've met you before. You've helped
Yep.
me out a lot, recently. So if these questions might almost be like being a dead horse, but it's still something that I struggle with is how do I that my office it's my full-time route and it's an aux route and that's it, even though the aux route should be a full-time route. Um, but I cannot for the life of me get the PTF carry. Like that route should be a full-time route, but I cannot for the life of me, I can't get him to do anything that he should be doing in regards to that adds time to his route, his vehicle checks, his this, his that, everything that, because it's almost a 6 hour aux route. And then he has to run my packages at the end of the day since mine's a walkout. Um, so I'm just at a loss anymore of how to
How to
get
get
him
them to
on
slow
board,
down?
how to get him. Well, not even just that, just how to get him on board. Like I've told him about, next gen, Corey's podcast, Richie's, everything and everything. I send him, I listen to the stuff on my route. I send him the stuff and he's the first one to bitch and complain about everything about his route not being full time, but he doesn't do anything. And I'm like, dude, like I'm trying to help you here. So I guess it's two questions. So there's that, and then the second thing is I filed a grievance. I don't know, it was like 2 weeks ago, and my newly elected vice president came to the office. They had the formal or the informal meeting, whatever, with the postmaster, and then he tells me, let's or first off, my postmaster told me I was only a local steward. Pretty much, I was nothing since I wasn't a national steward, so to speak. And then my vice president tells me, "Listen, man, you got to stay off of Facebook. You got to stay off all these podcasts, blah 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 blah." And I brought up the CLC to him on purpose, like just kind of being an asshole. You know what I mean? And it was just like I just got this look like I was a piece of shit because I'm trying to fight for my office, and then when I mentioned you guys, and like I said, I talked to you about this stuff last year in AC. It's just we haven't had a steward in my office for like I've been there almost 10 years, for probably close to 20 years, and then when I finally got to know enough about all the messed up things that were going on, I told you that's why I became a steward.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those things where I'm sure, like everybody else, like I could file 50 grievances a day, but in such a small office, I'm drowning. You know what I mean? But I guess my main question is, what do you think I can do to get this other dude on board? Because, and not just him, other offices that are within 15, 20 minutes, 40 minutes of me that are the same branch, and they're the carriers that bitch under the sun. But then when you tell them what to do, or how you do it to alleviate those things or stop those things from happening, they don't want to do it. So I mean that's probably the biggest part that frustrates me.
All right. With the person, I always try to make like there's people in the offices that probably don't like me, and there's people that respect me. I always want to work on the respect portion of it because we're all brothers and sisters, and sometimes some people lose their way, and it's up to you because if that person's willing to have conversations with you in the morning, Ant, then
Mm-hmm.
become the leader, not the follower,
Right.
and
Right.
teach that person the way. Now, I would always tell that person that when they do get their own route, because you said they're a PTF, right? So when they
Mm-hmm.
do go and get their own route and they run their route and they do all this stuff off the clock and all that, their route's going to get
Right.
cut. Now you're going to do a
Right.
massive rebid. Now you're out of there. So
Right.
you have to show them that angle. But I would just keep mentoring and getting them to the part of you know, righting their ship. Now, it sounds to me more like you have leadership problems on the other end of it, and that should never be. I have my people's back 100%. And I know there's a
Right.
dude here that's in my thing, and he'll vouch for that because you could be the person that hates me to life. And when I show up to defend you regardless of anything.
Right.
Because it's about light blue. It ain't about whether I like you or he likes him because it's not high school. I'm not there to
Right.
make friends. I'm there to do my job and uphold the contract. So I'm that guy, and I feel like you should work more of the mentors on that guy, and then I would also start working with your leadership because if your leadership's more listening to management more than they're listening to you, that's a guy that's actually their shop steward, and they're not
Mm,
training you and educating you. Well, then maybe you
right.
need to put something together and vote them out when the next election comes. That's how I would answer that.
Okay. Good deal. Thank you.
Does that make sense, anybody?
That makes perfect sense.
And I hope to see you in Atlantic City, my brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, man. So it was a hard sell getting me to go there last year. So we'll see. So hopefully I do again. So
All
definitely.
right, my brother.
All right, man. Thank you.
I
Yep.
think I think Anthony brought up like a real issue, right? Um, it's 2026. There's Zooms, there's YouTube, there's
Hmm.
Facebook. There's so many ways to educate the rank and file about the basic route protection, right? Not everyone files a grievance, right? But everyone has a route, or eventually will have a route.
Yeah.
And if you could just learn how to maintain it, because one of the things I see, I walk in my office. I don't want to speak badly about my office, but I will. I try to keep branch politics out. I walk in my office. There's like what 65 routes in my office. Three of them are already fully cased before even clocking in. We just had route inspections. We just lost three routes, and it's like, damn. And like, why? Why does this happen? Like, why do people work off the clock? The question is it afraid of management, or do they just want to have 8 hour day and clock out? I think that's it, right? Like
That's it.
our union, we're a labor union, and our slogan for the labor movement is live better, work union, but we don't even have the 8 hour day. So
Mhm.
you come in, you case off the clock for 20 minutes, you work through your lunch and your breaks, and then you fucking clock out and fucking go run to the bathroom. And then it's like tearing around inspections, you get bullied even faster, so you don't even have that toughness. You don't have the support of the union. So I think the future, this is why I pretty much support every underdog that's running in 2026 is because it's crazy. I'm literally step D, and I created a YouTube channel back in 2024, and Corey Walton on from my year to arbitration was like, "Hey, everyone, go check out John Murphy doing route inspection, protect your route guide." And it's crazy that someone like me had to do something like that, while the National Association of Letter Carriers has hundreds of millions of dollars, and you can't even get a basic training. The regions don't do any training unless you're a steward. So there's so much gatekeeping. And I think that's crazy when it comes to route protection. Like you think you would fucking like mail them a DVD. I don't even know if people have DVD players anymore, but like mail them like like do something on the members portal, like do a video. Like you could break down the M41 by bullet points and create like a PowerPoint, which I think
Absolutely.
I'm currently in the process of doing. But my point is with someone like you and what Anthony just said, it's so much focus is on the small percentage of Article 8, the grievance process, which is the NBA's position. But the NBA's position won't be a position if we continue to lose routes. Like, if we keep losing routes and members, it's like, what are we in a couple of years from now? So I don't think
True.
I don't see any more questions. So, Kriebel, if you want to plug your podcast, your email again, and are you going to do a meet and greet at Atlantic City? When is that? March 8th?
Not a meet and greet, John. We're gonna, I'm always open to meet people. Anytime that I'm down there, people just come up and talk. I know that Steph keeps talking to me about going to a Tony's Baltimore Grill, but I don't know if I need to bring my guns and I'm gonna have to fight in that place because it's in a dive bar across the street. So I don't know about all that, but I'm always willing to meet people out and about. The podcast is 613 and it's spelled out 613. Episode 4 will be dropping on Wednesday, the Cold Town. It's working the way I wanted it to work. What I wanted to do, guys, is I wanted to build a podcast that I could reach the rank and file in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. They come on, and I got people lined up all the way into April that are from different stations. And if you're out in my region, you want to come on and have a conversation, we'll have a conversation. I got a lot of presidents coming on. You're kind of starting to hear how the stations, how their grievances are working, how their contractual shit's wrong, how you'll hear this week how there's a whole OIC going crazy in a post office, which should never be. It's great conversations. I brought a co-host into it. My guy Keith Slusall, he's an old head. I've met him through some trainings, and we connect. He's a part of Allentown's branch, 274 to Lehigh Valley. And him and I, through all the trainings we've gone to, have always had these conversations. And I went to him one day and I said, I need to be able to reach the rank and file more. So I created this and I started reaching out to presidents because I know a lot of people. I mean, if it is a Region 12 people, I got a ton of people across the United States that I could bring on it. But I would rather focus it around Region 12, John, because I feel that that's the heart of my people. And if we come on there and we have these conversations, everybody's going to start to see that there's challenges exist with all these stations. A lot of people aren't getting the representation that they are. You know, like the position of the business agents to be that interaction between national and the local level. And when you don't have that, that's a challenge. So the podcast is working really great. I appreciate everybody coming out there. There is a Facebook page for that. If you want to reach out to me personally, you can reach me at williamkriebel26@gmail.com. I always ask people to go on the CLC site and go to the endorsement page. Click on there, endorse us, just sign up your branch, put your name in there. Don't cost you nothing. We're not looking for money, but it'll get you our education when it comes up. It's not that I got to do this, this, and this. It's about put your name up there and we're going to make you a part of us. And when we do a lot of trainings as a CLC. I mean, John, you said about it earlier. What us getting together about heat and the winter trainings and stuff. They weren't really CLC trainings, but they were CLC candidates doing it. So that was another way. You can reach me on my Facebook page and just call me. I mean, a lot of people have my phone number in the region, or just reach out to me on my own, instant message me. I have a lot of people that have asked for me to come out to their stations, but then I also have that other batch of people that are scared to have me at their stations because they don't want to be blacklisted. That's a challenge. No blacklisting here, folks. There's no blacklisting. I want us all to come together as one and have a big kumbaya, and we'll go fight the fight together. Because if we're all strong, we're going to win. We'll become winners. We need to bring our union back. We've heard every one of us talk about this, and then that's what we're about. So all these ways to reach out. I'll come to your station if you want me to come to your station. I'm very happy to do that stuff. I have 27-point vehicle inspection cards for branch members to put out in their vehicles for these route inspections. Try doing that in 3 minutes. So that's about it, man, as far as getting a hold of me. I appreciate you guys, though, for always being true to me, connecting with me. I've had many great conversations, especially Greg and Capone. I mean, Capone, I taught you about Van Halen, man. So we did a little tour together, the two of us, but I enjoyed every moment of it. And I always like when I see you guys at the president meetings, and I look forward to meeting everybody, the whole crew, once we get to national. I'm a friendly dude. Come up and talk to me. I'm there.
All right, cool. I think Mark Mancini, I think he has one final question. Mark, if you want to introduce yourself and ask Kriebel the final question.
Absolutely. Mark Mancini, Branch 84 out of Pittsburgh, PA. I just want to know, what Van Halen song are you going to play, Bill, when you win?
Oh my God. Charlie Miller's been up my ass to play at the national convention, and I keep telling him he's crazy. But just in case somebody comes up there with a guitar and hands it to me, I've been working on Dreams by Van Halen off the Sammy Hagar years. I feel that kind of fits the whole angle of what we're doing. We can go higher and higher and higher all the time with our dreams, and in that emotion that comes with that fits the bill, because every one of us that you see with the lion are going to win. And our dream and the dreams of everybody else is going to come together, because now you've got people that are fighting for you. We're fighting for what we deserve. So Dreams, Van Halen. It might happen.
I like it. You can do one from each era or just that one?
Probably that one. We'll see about
All
something else. A lot of people are up my ass about the Foo Fighters all the time, so maybe I'll slip one of them in there.
right.
All right, I think we're good. I'll wrap up. Capone, Greg, Margo, any last words?
Margo, go for it. Oh no. Bill, I just want to thank you for coming on. Great conversation. Thanks again.
Thanks, Greg.
Good to see you again, Bill.
You too, Capone, man. I look forward to seeing you soon, my man.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, everyone.
And
All right, thank you. Thank you everyone so much for tuning into this episode of Next Generation Carriers. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to share it with a coworker. Please think about making a donation to our podcast to help sustain this project and to get us out to the national convention in Los Angeles this summer. Donate what you can. Go to nextgenerationcarriers.com/donate. Until next time, solidarity.
Night, everybody.